Hello again. So tonight's film, we're just going to cut right to the chase. Try to make this short. I say that every video, never works, but let's try it. So tonight I watched Night of the Hunted, which is a Shudder original. Essentially it's about a sniper who's got gripes with his lady. So anyway, let's get right into it. She's at a motel and she wakes up at like 2 a.m. to her husband calling. She has a fertility appointment that she's on the road to go to, trying to have a kid, whatever. That's fantastic. As she hangs up, this dude comes out from the other room and goes to have a shower. So cheating, bad. Yeah, so they head out. It's still dark out. Apparently the freeway or whatever is closed. They have to take like a side highway. And oh yeah, her name's Alice, and the guy she's with is John. I don't remember the husband's name. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, John's driving, and they see the fuel light go, and she's like, "Didn't you fill the tank? Like I fucking told you to." Excuse my language, sorry. And he's like, "Yeah, I 100% did, but that's fine. I guess we'll just go and fill it up." So they find a gas station side of the road. He goes to fill the tank, and she goes into the shop to get a coffee because it's 2 a.m. I mean, you need a damn coffee. We've all been there. It's a little gas station and mini mart thing, like out in the middle of nowhere on some abandoned, well, not abandoned, but like some side road that doesn't see a ton of traffic. Apparently, although later we do see a fair amount of traffic for something that's so like whatever. Anyway, she goes in, gets her coffee, realizes, or she's like looking around, there's nobody working there. She's really annoyed. John is just sort of, he's done filling the tank already, and he's sitting in the car waiting for her. She's looking around and she sees she's gonna go put money on the till, I guess, and leave or something, but she sees blood on the wall splattered behind the till, and then there's a shot which is fired and it hits her in the shoulder. And so John's in the car listening to music. He's completely oblivious. The guy's using a sniper rifle, so it's obviously silenced and whatnot. So yeah, unless he's looking at the store, he's not going to notice it. He's not going to hear it. So she's hit in the shoulder. It's not like a fatal wound, but it looks pretty rough. Slices her. I think it grazed her or whatever, but it went right through like the muscle here or whatever. I just gave you the finger by accident. Sorry. But yeah, it grazed her. She's down though. She realizes someone's shooting. There's a couple more shots, and she's trapped. So John's still waiting in the car, listening to music, and then his fuel light goes off again. He's like, "What the hell?" And he goes outside and looks under the car, and his fuel's leaking. So that's not good. So he goes into the store to look for Alice. It's been a while. Or maybe he doesn't see the fuel leaking, but I think he did. I can't remember. But he goes in to see what's taken Alice so long, or to tell her the fuel's leaking, one or the other, whichever it is. And she's like, tries to warn him, but unfortunately he's shot like right through the back, and he falls dead. Or no, he's shot in the neck, which is just, that's brutal, especially seeing your like lover getting shot in the neck. He's down. He's like trying to like say "help me" through like breathy, like, well, he's shot in the neck, right? So he's losing it, and then the sniper just takes him out of his misery, shoots him in the head, dead. Boom, gone. Lover's dead. Shit. And then the radio goes off at one point after that, and it's the manager, and he's like, "Where's Amelia? Amelia, hello, answer." And he's been like trying to contact this girl, I guess the one behind the counter. So she goes and gets the radio to contact with this guy, and she's like, "Call the cops. I don't know what's going on. There's a guy shooting at me," whatever. He's like, "Oh fuck, okay." And he like calls the cops so that she can hear him calling the cops and everything. And he's like, "Okay, hang on. Is an active shooter?" She's like, "Yes." He tells the cops, etc. It's like, "Okay, they're gonna be there in like 15 minutes. Just hang tight. Where's Amelia?" "She's dead." And then she's like, "Please stay with me." He's like, "Okay." Anyway, turns out that's the sniper. Big surprise. Oh fuck, I should have gave a spoiler warning. Oops. Spoilers. It's not the store owner. It's the sniper. So anyway, he's harassing the shit out of her, blah 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 blah. Throughout the night, several cars pull up. Most of the people in them, like, there's one guy who knows Amelia, and he's like a delivery guy, and he stops every night to like chat with her, and he He's like, where's Amelia? And she's like, get down. There's a shooter. The shooter uses this opportunity to mess with her head more by not shooting anything anymore. And she comes to the realization, like, okay, you got here and the shots stopped. What the hell's going on? And the guy's like trying to convince her, like, I'm not a shooter. I know Amelia. I've come here every night. Blah 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 blah. And she's like dead, lying there, and he's freaking out. And he's like, I left my phone in the car. And he's like, she made like a little mirror with like a standy thing from. She rips it off like the sunglasses display and uses duct tape to like put it on some stick thing. Anyway, he grabs that and he's like, I can see my phone in the car. And she's like, can you get it? And he's like, I'm not fucking going out there with some guy shooting at you. I mean, I see the bullet holes. Like, no one's shot at me, but I'm not going to take the risk. Eventually he does, though, anyway. So he sneaks out, makes it to his car, opens the door, staying out of range. Oh, shit, yeah, there's a billboard. And the billboard says... what does it say? It's like God is nowhere or something, which is a weird message for a billboard to have. Anyway, that's where the sniper is. So he's up there, and they're aware of this. So he's the guy trying to get his phone from his car is trying to keep out of sight of the billboard, like staying within range. But his phone is on one of those little stands that's on his dash. So he's like trying desperately to get it. The sniper shoots his phone. And he's like, shit, and then shoots him in the head. And so he's dead. So clearly he's not the sniper. Side note, the sniper also shot her phone, which she dropped when she was shot. And then she was like trying to get it, and he like shot the phone. So no phone. The phone line at the counter is cut. The fire alarm is cut. So there's no outside communication other than this little walkie. Good times. Anyway. So Amelia's dead. John's dead. Buddy Boy's dead. She gets like these golf umbrellas and sets it up so she can kind of move around the store, but the sniper's just like, I'm not dealing with this. So he like does a little countdown, like 1 Mississippi, and then like fires a bunch of shots through the umbrellas, making her scramble back behind the till, which is where she was basically hiding out. The guy, turns out he's like, she's trying to figure out what the issue is, who this guy is, and he's like, he knows all about her. He knows where she works. She works at a pharmaceutical company. He knows the name of the pharmaceutical company. He knows that she was cheating. He knows that she had been there 2 years and became the vice president, blah, 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 blah. And he's basically going on saying, like, you work for a company that kills people. And he's going on about, like, anti-vax stuff and stuff, which is a bold move. I'll just note, like, you know, everyone has their views and whatnot, and I'm not going to state mine. It doesn't really matter whether I'm for or against vaccines or whatnot, but like, not everyone on either side is a psychopath. So like, don't take that to mean that this movie is saying that all people who are anti-vax and all that are freaking psychopaths, because this is one guy who's like lost it. So it's one case, which it's a bold move to like choose a side, I guess, for this movie, but I took it to be just like, he's a guy who snapped. He goes on about like not having health care, his daughter dying, etc. Like a whole bunch of stuff that just made him snap. So she's still doesn't know who this guy is. He's like, maybe I followed you from the convention that you were at. Maybe I was a co-worker that you stepped on to get the position you're in. Maybe I'm the dad who lost his kid because of the Medicare or the lack of Medicare or whatever. Maybe he's listing all these different things, so she has no idea who this guy is. Maybe your husband sent me because you were cheating. Like, you don't know who I am. He's just messing with her mind. Anyway, another car pulls up, and I think there was one car that pulled up and like the person was shot before they even got out of it. I think. I was writing down a notes on the film when that happened, so I just saw the car like roll to a stop. So I don't know. I'm assuming he shot the driver, so I probably should have rewound and looked at that. But anyway, another car pulls up and an older man gets out and he's gonna fill his tank. Or no. Okay, so another car comes up and he's like blasting metal, and he tries to fill his tank and his car is declined. And he's like, "Fuck!" And so he drives off, all pissed off. And then the guy on the radio is like, "See, if I was a psychopath, I would have killed that guy. Although to be fair, if he had better credit and he had to go inside, I would have killed him." So there's that. Everyone that's dying here is essentially her fault, according to this guy, because she's not just giving herself up and whatever. So he's like playing the guilt trip on her and shit like that and placing everything on her. Totally fair, obviously, right? Because, I mean, she wanted to be in that situation. Has something against all these random people. Anyway, another car pulls up and this older guy gets out to fill up his tank and puts the gas pump in. He grabs his little squeegee. His wife's in the seat, passed out. And he notices the car that's like parked there. And I guess he sees the bullet holes in it, maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay, so because she tries to do the little, the car alarm thing. So she sets the car alarm off and he shoots at the car basically until it goes off. Like at the engine and wherever the car alarm place would be, or the computer or whatever. Ends up turning the car alarm off. So anyway, he sees the car of the gentleman that left his phone in the car, and he's holding the squeegee and he's slowly walking up to him. She's like, no, go back. But he doesn't see anything. And he walks up close enough to see the guy's like head blown out, and he's like, oh shit. And then boom, right through his chest. He falls. The wife wakes up. She sees her husband. She's all panicking. She's like running to the road, running back, all stressed, no idea what to do. She's shot. The man who was initially shot, like the older man, is like crawling to her to like, I don't know, whatever that is. He's trying to see if she's okay or to hold her as he dies or whatever it is. It's pretty depressing. Anyway, Sniper takes him out completely just before he can reach her. So, and he's like, oh, wasn't that sweet, eh? That's the kind of love that'll die out with that generation or something. So he doesn't give a shit anymore at this point. Oh, there's another point before this too, where there's like, you see the cop sirens coming. She's like, oh shit, the cops are coming. This is fantastic. Anyway, the cop car goes right past the station. She's like, for fuck's sakes, like, come on. Anyway, that was a scene that was earlier. Anyway, eventually it turns out there's a little girl that was in the car, and she's looking, and obviously Alice is like, okay, you can't kill a kid or whatever. And so the Sniper's basically like, I'll tell you what, are you willing to give your life for hers? And she's like, yes. He's like, okay, you go tell her to run, and when she's at the end of the road out of range, you come out and we'll end it. And she's like, all right. She's ready to do it. So she puts up a sign on the window, writes on toilet paper or paper towels, and puts on the window with a Sharpie, and it says like, run. And the kid like starts to sort of run, but then ends up running into the place, like hugging her, because it's a kid, it's scared, she doesn't know, like. So the little girl hugs her, and she's like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. She'd been trying to saw through a lock that goes to the garage in the back. Was unsuccessful, but now there's a kid, so she's determined. She ends up powering through the lock, and it gets into the garage and goes to open the door, but it's like a key lock one, so it only goes up a tiny bit. They can't get out. That's freaking great. And then she sees the guy stand up, and he's like, okay, I'm coming in. I don't have all night to deal with this. Like, the sun's gonna be up in a couple hours. So he puts his rifle down and he comes in with a handgun. So he's gonna finish the job. He's going in and he's like taunting her and shit. At one point she yells something to him. What the hell was it? It was like I don't remember. It doesn't matter, but she like blows her cover briefly to yell something at him, and he doesn't shoot her for whatever reason. But anyway, so back to where we were. He comes in the shop. He's got his handgun. He's like, this is what a handgun looks like, in case you don't know. Brilliant. He comes in. She tells the girl to hide. Like, sing a song very quietly if you get scared, just to like keep yourself from panicking. So she starts singing like the monkeys jumping on the bed song or whatever it is. You won't know it. And if not, you're lucky. She's doing that, and Alice is like preparing like a makeshift spear with like a pole that she found in the garage, or like a piece of metal or something. It's kind of dark, so you can't really tell what it is. And she like makes it and has like a screwdriver as well, and she ends up spearing the guy in the side, like through his, I don't know, liver maybe or something, I'm not sure. goes through him and then taking the screwdriver and putting it like in its back here, and the guy falls and whatever. And there's a bit of a struggle. He drops the gun. He ends up pulling the shit out of him, and oh fuck, sorry, before he came in, after the little girl came in, but before he came in, he shoots her too, like in the leg, and then he also shoots her again through like the stomach or something, so she's in rough shape. Oh no, he shoots her in the leg, not in the stomach, sorry. She gets shot in the stomach when they're struggling, and from the little girl's perspective, you see the door to the garage and Alice's body just fall, so assumed dead. The guy's boots start coming in, so this little girl is freaking out. The guy pulls out a key, so obviously he is the owner, so he wasn't bullshitting. Was he bullshitting about being married to Alice, which he said he was? We don't know. You never do find out who the guy is. But anyway, he puts a key in and opens the garage. And then I guess maybe he hears like a little girl or something like breathing heavy, or her foot moves or something, and he turns his attention. And he pulls the thing that she's hiding behind, and he sees her, and that's when Alice comes back, and she what does she do to him then? I think is that when she stabs him? Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, there's more of a scuffle, and she ends up like cutting him again or something, and the gun, that's when the gun gets rustled out, I think. No, she hits him with a fire extinguisher, that's what it is. So he hits him with a fire extinguisher in the head like 2 times, the guy falls down, he's like, whoa, fuck, like out of it. And she sees the door is like partially open and the keys, and she's like, okay, we can get out. So quick thinking, she drags the guy's body to the door, hits the lower garage door buttons, and slowly tries to pull this guy's body under the door, I guess to trap him or whatever. The guy comes to and starts struggling as the door is coming down, but too late. His head is right under the door, side brain comes out, guy's dead. Good times. And then Alice, like, I guess knowing that the girl is safe and like with her last bit of energy, kind of like leans back against the thing by the door. This guy's dead. The little girl's fine. She finally dies. I guess she was like holding on to do everything she could to save this little girl or something. Anyway, girl's safe. Alice is dead. This guy's dead. John's dead. The grandparents are dead. The guy with his phone is dead. Bunch of people dead. Good times. Little girl runs to the road. Credits roll. Right on. So that was Night of the Hunted. Overall, decent. Like I said, the choice to make the hunter, I guess we'll just call him the hunter, because I don't know, he didn't have a name really. There was a box of stuff she found with like Henry in it, so, and she calls him Henry. He's like, who's Henry? So I don't know if he is Henry or not, but anyway, the hunter. What was the point I was trying to make? Oh my god, don't you love unscripted? Anyway, good movie. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The choice to make the hunter an anti-vax guy who has problems with, like, he mentions like microchips and Bill Gates and stuff, but he kind of mentions it like sarcastically, along with like rushing the Capitol building and all that. So he was trying to say like, you put all this stuff together on all of us when it's, you know, we're not all psychopaths, you know. So he's at least one of those things. But you never know the extent of it. You never find out who the guy is because his head is smushed, so she can't take the mask off. So that is a bold choice. That'll probably irritate some people who have beliefs in line with that. But again, take it with a grain of salt. This is one guy who just was at his breaking point, I guess. It doesn't mean all anti-vaxxers are psychopathic killers or whatever, whether or not you agree with that. So whatever, that'll piss some people off probably. But if you can look past that and just look at it as a movie, regardless of like if it has a motive or something, or a message it's trying to bring, which I really don't think it does. I think it just used that to set up the character with a reason. It was decent. It was decent. What am I gonna rate it? I'm gonna give it I think it's in the low 7s. Trying to remember what I gave the other movies to gauge how good it is. So I I got to give it a rating though. So let's do 7.25, 7.25. Perfect. Boom. It was a good watch. I don't know if I'll watch it again. I might, but it's worth watching at least once for sure. So 7.25. One thing I actually loved about it, which is so insignificant in the grand schemes of a film or whatever, is how the title reveal. So they show the car when John and her are driving on the highway, and as she comes around the turn, you can kind of see like the letters of Night of the Hunted start to get backlit, and then the car turns, and it's like the lights are coming right at the viewer, and it is completely backlit. And then it like goes, the car passes and it goes red. I thought that was really cool. So good creative choice there. Okay, we're over 20 minutes again. So you know what? I'm going to cut it here. 7.25, decent movie. Might piss you off if you're an anti-vaxxer, but if you're fine with that and you can take it as it's just a frickin' movie and it's just one guy and it doesn't represent you if you believe that, it's enjoyable. Acting was decent. Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.